Hello and welcome to NEAFL TV. This is round 16, our first of two split rounds. Just 4 games on this weekend, but there was some great football played. Let's start in Sydney. Ainsley took on the Sydney Hills Eagles. Sydney Eagles entered this match having recorded a couple of tough losses to Ainsley so far in 2014, but with a gale at their backs, the Eagles made a roaring start. Michael Sankey's men bolted out of the block, kicking 5 goals to nothing in the opening quarter to take a 28-point lead at quarter time. But, as is often the case at Bruce Purser Reserve, with that howling wind, the game was spun on its head as Ainsley kicked with the breeze in the second term. The Tricolours, led by gun midfielder Aaron Vandenberg, were simply dominant, kicking 5 goals 5 in that second term and locking up scores at 39 apiece at the main break. As the wind died down slightly in the third term, this game evened up as a contest and the sides traded goals. Led by Jamie Vlatko and Luke Jericho, who finished with 4 and 3 goals respectively, the Eagles took an 11-point lead into three-quarter time and they were a chance of a boil-over. But just when the home side got a whiff of an upset victory, they slowed to a crawl. The Eagles did not add a single point in the last term. Ainsley piled on 6 goals and the result was in the end a comfortable win to the Tricolours, Ainsley eventually winning 12-16, 88 to 8-10, 58. Next up, we're down in Canberra for a derby between Belconnen and Eastlake. Eastlake entered this game amidst a wretched run of form, but they started very promisingly early. Belconnen, however, were arguably the better side in open play, but they were supremely inaccurate in front of goal, kicking 2-8 in the opening term. After such a promising start, Eastlake began to be overrun. Jordan Harper and Chris York went to town in front of the big sticks. Harper finished with 6 majors, while York kicked 5. In a very promising sign for NEAFL fans of young talent, Canberra local Jack Steele was immense, coming back after Rams duties, and he did his draft prospects absolutely no harm whatsoever. After a slow start to the year, Belconnen is well and truly hitting its straps, and they ran out with a comfortable win here, 21-17, 143 to 95-59. Up to Queensland now for what shaped as the match of the round on paper. It did not disappoint. Southport hosted Redlands. In their 2 clashes so far in 2014, an average margin of just 10 points has separated these 2 bitter rivals, and this game was very close from the outset as well. After the sides traded goals to begin the game, Adam Clark and Josh Baxter got back-to-back majors for Southport and they skipped out to a 7-point lead at quarter time.
Prevented the Southport Sharks answering nicely. Adam Clark with his first of the day.
The second term was a much tighter affair, with former Southport spearhead Cleve Hughes kicking the only major for the Bombers, and there were just 2 points in it at half-time. This was arguably Southport's most important game of the year thus far, with their top 6 hopes potentially on the line, and they played like it in the third term, kicking 3 goals to nothing to take a 20-point lead into three-quarter time. Halfway through the fourth term, Southport still looked in control, leading by 3 goals, but enter Cleve Hughes.
The margin back to 1 straight kick if he can get it. Looks good off the boot, and it is!
The big man's switch to Southport from the Bombers in the off-season was one of the NEAFL's biggest recruiting coups, and Hughes showed his worth in a frenetic last 8 minutes, kicking 3 goals and eventually doing enough to get his team across the line. Redlands causing a boil-over win, 10-11, 71 to 9-9, 63. And our final match of round 16 at Spotless Stadium, the UWS Giants took on Sydney University. Sydney University needed a win here to keep their slim finals hopes alive, but against the rampaging top-placed Giants, even the slightest error was going to prove costly.
Shot on goal, and it's an absolute beauty.
After that opening goal in the first 30 seconds to James Stewart, Jake Barrett and Jacob Townsend kicked majors for the Giants, and Stewart got his second within the first 11 minutes. With his side up against it, Matt O'Dwyer was playing out of his skin, and he delivered to Jacob Derricks for the students' first goal.
It was a brilliant kick. So Derricks, he makes no mistake.
Derricks got his second late in the first term, but the Giants held a comfortable lead at the opening break. The students needed a fast start in the second term to wrench themselves back into the contest, but they didn't get it. Christian Jarks and then Sam Reed kicked 3 goals in the first 10 minutes, and the Giants were out to a 40-point lead.
By the Giants.
That's a beautiful goal from the Giants.
Mark Wiley was brilliant all day through the midfield for the Giants, and he got his first to start the third term. Jonathan Giles got one of his own before adding a second just 5 minutes later.
Don't like him for this
I don't like this one.
Okay, Giles moves in. And it's a lovely kick from Jonathan Giles.
Up to 2 goals in 3 minutes from young draft hopeful Jeremy Finlayson, the students put together their best 5 minutes of the game with 3 consecutive majors to big-name players in Derricks, Ryan Brabazon and Tim Barton. To their great credit, Daniel Gilmore's men kept on fighting right until the final siren. The students were very gallant in defeat, but ultimately, top-placed UWS just had a little bit too much class. Jed Lamb kicked 4 goals, and the Giants ran out 21-9, 135 to 13-12, 90 winners.
McCarthy, easy as you like, on the left foot.
To the ladder now, and it's still the Giants on top ahead of the Swans, Thunder, Astley, Redlands and Ainsley up to 6th. Southport is in 7th, then it's Sydney University, the Sydney Hills Eagles, Belconnen, the Lions, Demons, Queanbeyan and the Gold Coast Suns. Just 5 games for round 17. It's the Lions and the Suns, then Astley plays Redlands, Queanbeyan takes on Eastlake, the Thunder and the Swans clash in the top end, and the round's finish with Sydney University taking on Belconnen. That's all we've got time for this week's NEAFL TV. Don't forget, during the week, check the app, check the website. I'm Sam Canavan. See you next time.